This conference will now be recorded.
This one was the one.
Yeah, it's working now. I came early because I had no idea what to expect. And then it turned on super easy and it was really simple to use.
I enjoyed it.
And it was weird. That's how it was at 12. I think that was all that matters. I think those two was having issues. Yeah.
And I switched to like, oh, it would let you in and then you couldn't hear.
Get that out. Yeah, and I can stay on.
Recognized it, but I put like
Just on your way out, if you didn't grab them
before and
everything's
after.
on for after.
Maybe show the process.
All right,
you know,
see, the time is 5:46. You don't have a gavel to say, knock, knock, knock. Gavel, gavel, gavel. Time's 5:46. We'll start, we have quorum. We'll see if Michael comes in, but we have quorum this week. Yay, we can start the meeting. So I'm going to officially call the meeting, the October 20th, 2025 meeting of the Creative Economy Committee to order at 5:47 p.m.
Thank you.
So do we have any public speak? And as always, we're going to try to move through because this is, the agenda this evening is, because we did not have quorum at the last meeting, the agenda this evening is essentially a mirror of that one, since we did not have our official September meeting other than updates read out loud. And there's no minutes from that meeting because of no quorum. So some of the items on our agenda this evening, we will be going through very quickly, and if there's anything that we want to shift, we can have that during our number 2 public speak and events updates. I will open the floor to that.
Yeah, I got two things from Liv Wallace. One is an Eagle Scout candidate I met with yesterday about benches along the Lake Wallace Sensory Trail. And much excitement on all sides. More to come. And I also I shared this, there's the receipt, on Facebook. I'll make it available elsewise, but I'm trying to get this this idea of the Adopt a Trail and the level of difficulty or involvement with each of the sections. The blue and the green are just 3 or 4 times a year. And the yellow and the orange are more intense. And just really want to promote the idea of the Adopt a Trail because it's the idea that the Lake Wallace Sensory Trail is fully volunteer maintained, even if it's managed by the rec department. But by being volunteer maintained, what we're saying is that the trail does not add to the tax burden on the town. That's a message that I'm trying to get out. I'm still looking for more people to join. Friends, looking for a friends communicator, another trail coordinator, for the dozens and dozens of people who walk the trail every day. There's an opportunity for, 1 out of every 100 to step up, and that would really make a big difference toward maintaining the trail in perpetuity. So that's my spiel. Thank you for attending my TED.
Let's connect the next week
Yes.
or 2 really briefly, and then let's
Yeah.
see if we can make that a size like that with a QR code for you.
Yeah.
But in a second, that middle story sign, that middle story sign that's not used.
Yeah.
And we can put that right in it laminated. I have a laminator big enough for 11 by 17, but real, just
Give me
the
the
size
chart,
of
so
the
it's
sign
right
up here. Okay. Just a side note so I don't forget to say it.
Yeah, and I do have a Google form already set up.
The other thing I'm thinking too is I've noticed we put in signs around the trail with the numbers and that signifies someone will be adopted.
The smiley face.
Yeah. I'm wondering if there's somewhere that we can also advertise what that means.
Right.
So
To make it clear,
To make it clear.
what are the things that are on the trail. Right. And now that there's a kiosk up by the the trailhead, there's an opportunity for it, but I'm not quite sure where, because we could put a wood panel across the back of the sign, but then that's not accessible. Again, anybody who's, mobility challenged wouldn't really be able to go behind the sign. So I'm just kind of,
We have some brainstorming.
I'm trying to picture.
It last night.
So,
Creative Economy Committee specific.
Yeah.
Our charge specifically, I guess, like I stopped in to find out if there was any update, any timing on when they were gonna reopen, the designation, which was kind of our reason for being. And there's not. I mean, there's not. There's nothing, from what I'm told, they don't even see anything coming.
The designation for,
Opening things up, even creating the whole department, everything else. I mean, it's,
so I sat in on a listening session when was it? May, June,
Yeah.
maybe, it was a long time ago,
right,
where Michael Salary, I asked him if, there was going to be any progress with reopening the cultural program, and a very diplomatic answer was given, that he said no.
correct. So it's just something we need to, I mean, that's our charge. That's why we exist. So we need to look at that, have some selectmen, involvement to see, because they would have to approve a different or whatever. But I just think it's something we gotta just start.
That's on my update.
That's all.
And I was like, I
Oddly
was looking
enough.
at our charge printed right there,
Yeah.
so we're on the same wavelength.
Right, it's just,
It's the middle of October,
Yeah.
and my time against September 31st,
Yeah.
so it's on my update.
Yeah.
see, this is what I'm saying, amongst other things. We're all on the same
Yeah.
wavelength, and, I've been looking at things and saying, I mean, I love that we're in touch with what every other group is doing and accomplishing. But I just feel stymied on a great deal of things, and especially now, it is public, I believe now, Steve made the announcement that we did get the $130,000 grant for the zoning, the signage and zoning bylaws. It is, he announced it at the meeting.
At the select board meeting, one of them, okay. Yeah, the the overall grant program will be fully announced. I have to look if it's been fully announced or not.
Okay.
Yeah.
So-
For certain pieces, yeah.
So to that end.
Yeah.
Our other work that we decided, we can do this while we're waiting for that. It seems like it would be a duplication of efforts, and they'll wait to see what they get from whoever,
For the artists,
Deal or
yeah.
whoever.
Yeah,
Yeah, and we were gonna look at,
diving deeper into.
diving deeper into allowing those things. So I know that we haven't even gotten to that main thing, which is on here of different, like Paul and Doug asked, just define it.
Yeah.
Let's just start with the definition.
Absolutely.
So that was my, I'm glad you're updating us too.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's on there, definitely to see what that would look like. Yeah. Any other events or announcements, adjustments, or anything right now?
It's not public speak, but I have a 7:15 stop today.
Yeah, no, the goal tonight is to be pretty brief through this, so, yeah, we will, I think a lot of these items have been really discussed at full extent, and we'll be going through, yeah. Yes.
Unfortunately, they canceled the Starbucks.
They did, well, yeah, I think how many stars does it do? Yeah. Okay, so we're keeping that approval, I put August meeting minutes, because again, we had no quorum last month, so moving forward with that. Could I have motion?
Make a motion to approve the minutes from the August meeting as written.
Second, and I will state, I did read them, I know I wasn't here, but I did read them, so, all right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Any abstain? Perfect. Thank you. All right, discussion and action items. As I mentioned, there's the updates on here today. Is it okay with the committee if we go a little out of order or cross off a couple from here due to minimal updates? Okay, I want to get to the meat of our conversation for just going through, making sure we hit the big topics before any time constraints happen today. So I'm hoping that other than Lisa's up there, we'll keep that up there. I won't move you away, Lisa. So if we could, I'm gonna just wait and do the project update on any wayfinding and branding, move that to later. Same with the Lake Wallace Fall Fest, we'll give you an update on that after we get through kind of the meat of the agenda and the building Belchertown. Is everyone okay with kind of pulling up the discussion items? Okay. So the first one that I wanted to do tonight, is that annual time. So we started in August and we appointed everyone in October of last year for positions. And I wanted to bring that up because as of right now, we actually don't have, this is why I have our kind of governance structure. We did not officially put any type of time update of when we would do positions, so automatically it's on an annual. Right now, we do have an annual reappointment every year, which is common. We have to figure out if this, the long-term, like what this committee, so I think keeping that as annual is smart right now. But as it stands for annual, I wanted to propose the conversation. We do have 2 members missing tonight. But if I would be happy to relinquish the chair if somebody is willing to then rotate into the chair for this next coming year. So that way I believe in rotating committee governance as well to make sure we do pass that around. Thoughts on if we should wait till we have full, well, it's hard to always have full membership, but I know we have the current appointed people in the members in the room. So if we could go through if there's thoughts or anyone raising their hand, like on stepping into rotation of,
And Maud.
yeah, Michael and Molly are not here this evening.
There we go, Molly.
Mike and Molly.
Like Molly,
Yeah,
it
Molly
used to
and
be,
Molly.
yeah, it used to be a TV show, yeah.
Um,
Yeah, but I know Molly's on BCC as well, and it'll be, we can put the question out if there's any, but, yes.
how does what I said previously reflect upon that?
We still exist.
Yes, we
So
still
we
exist.
still exist
Yeah.
and we
Yeah.
are extraneous from the cultural,
Yeah.
from the mass cultural.
Why do we
cultural
exist?
district.
Why do we exist?
But we exist for other reasons other than
I'm just
that.
asking you to tell me why. I don't know why.
I thought Maud wrote a really great,
Yeah,
report for us.
Yeah.
And the things that we've all done.
so I think a big one with this is that even though the official Mass Cultural District doesn't exist in its form at the moment, Belchertown itself still has our own formation of cultural district, which has been a big discussion. It's kind of, Jen is now in the room. It's come up a lot. And it is something to discuss as we do our annual looking at everything. It's come up a lot in the sense of Belchertown has been forming their own cultural district for quite some time without state funding. We have been focusing on the Lake Wallace area, been partnering with the Historic Commission, and there are some projects that are on the potential future that would go along with cultural. It's looking at discussing downtown marketing stuff or downtown kind of tourism marketing, look at those businesses. So I think that's where, at least the way that I've heard from sitting in on meetings around this topic, partnering with the library, like being the connector piece with a lot of the areas. It is a question for sure, but that's my
It's like
understanding of that piece of
super
it. Yeah.
It's like a super group.
Yeah, so I agree with you because I do have moments where I go, oh wait, what are we doing if we don't have this? But it is also, I didn't leave them out there because I want to put it on next week's agenda, but I do have the list of our 2025 year-end report that Maud had started before that one's different. That's Maud's projects that she left for us to review that have been done. And it's pretty astonishing the amount of work that actually happened this year. While it wasn't necessarily an external project per se, this committee did support and make it possible to have a lot of other things happen. And even if it was just discussing those items in the room, and that led to something else, or that led to another conversation. So I'm speaking too much right now, but yeah.
I think the radically rural really gave us defining too,
Yeah.
right? Like that really, those events.
Yeah.
That really helped out, and that happened again. So now we've had another round of radically rural. So
Yes,
to play out.
and I did attend, and I haven't had time to collect my thoughts, but I will share, once I collect my thoughts and write down focuses on that, I will share it for people to hear.
I talked to Charlotte, who also went.
Yeah.
And Mel went last year, and Maud and Lisa and myself, and we never did like a debrief.
Yeah.
And so I really would like to do that.
Yeah.
Now that we have a whole cohort of people who have gone and attended.
Mhm. I highly recommend it for anyone to attend this, I know we're getting off topic, or let's get on topic, but it is something that I highly recommend anyone who is interested in radical economic, art, culture, everything and anything to attend this, because it's pretty amazing, and people from all over the country go to.
When is it?
This is an annual, I'll send you information, radically rural, it happens annually, the same time every year. Last week, it was up in Keene, New Hampshire. It's amazing, very accessible, it's amazing. But I do agree, yeah, so I'll let others to speak.
Well, I wasn't here at the time, but as select person, it's like we're working outside of our charge.
Your charge is whatever. What is your charge right now? It's just,
To obtain the
So-
cultural district designation.
So,
oh, that could still be part of the charge. There's no reason, just
Well,
because
it's
the
not- program doesn't even exist.
program doesn't exist, but as Sarah just mentioned, we're operating as though we do have one. So when that program is back, which they claim it will be, we are primed and ready to go.
and I
To
mean,
put in the application.
maybe this is a conversation with BCC, because they are an MCC group, and while we won't get annual state funding for this, maybe this is a conversation with BCC to say, hey, is there a way where we can work together to create a belch, like something within our, what we do every year? You know, I know funding is always funding, but, but to have something in there.
But even if we did get the designation, this is what we've always talked about with the historical commission too.
Yeah.
Even if we do get the designation, that doesn't guarantee it funding. So
Yeah.
you work and you do the events.
Yeah.
And I see us as the group that brings all of these organizations and these thoughts together, right? And that then we build Belchertown up, just like you were saying.
The
We do the event.
designation is really just a marketing tool.
Yes.
It's
yes.
not, even if you have the designation, there's still a committee of folks who put together things that happen in the district. So
So.
I don't
yeah,
see there's
crazy
anything
thought.
separate.
Crazy thought. And skipping, this is for our next projects and
Yeah.
continued goals.
Yeah.
I'm gonna write it down here, I'll save it, all right, crazy thought, save it for later. All right, I'll stop.
Yeah, I think I see, and correct me, if my view is off, but I see this committee as really tying together the efforts of a lot of different organizations in town so that they are coordinating to some degree, that they actually know about each other instead of operating, completely separately from each other. And that reduces the redundancy that can kind of, make people kind of go into silos and start feeling territorial about what they're doing and who else is trying to take stuff away from them. So to have, I suppose that's sort of like a cultural district, where
Yeah.
there's some opportunity to have, conversation move back and forth between people who are coordinating different events. So that in the name of the committee. It's not the cultural district committee, it's the creative economy committee. So that sounds accurate.
And I mean, we committed to redo and look at our committee charging annually, which a lot of groups don't do that. And I think this will be when we do, and that will be on our next agenda. to start doing that, because it can take, we're not gonna sit for 3 hours again this year, so we're gonna split that up. And it's with the forefront, I think, of that discussion. Yeah. Are there any other thoughts or discussions on kind of that piece of this? Okay. Or annual goal voting? Is there anyone who would like to transition to take care of just the acting chair for the next annual cycle to rotate the position?
Don't all volunteer
I know,
all at the same
I know.
time.
I will state that if I do remain as chair, I do need more assistance in it, and that's on me. I don't know how to ask for help usually. But I do need to split up, chair duties, just because my work life got a lot busier recently. With all good things, but it doesn't give me time anymore to do any daytime meetings really, or kind of taking on the coordination of everything. So I think,
Sorry.
you don't want to be chair, do you?
Yes, me?
I'm never here. There's so many more.
You're chair.
So many more.
Welcome. You've been promoted. Welcome. Well, don't worry, we'll send you how to do it. See, that's what happens when you don't pay anyone down. We're in the midst of our discussion around committee governance, because we are on an annual cycle on kind of shifting. Or if there's, I know some committees have a dual chair role.
So I was just gonna suggest that.
Yeah,
I would be happy with
Chairs.
dual chairs
okay. I
because,
think BCC used to do that.
They do.
because I can't do everything.
I'm finding I can't either. I'm underwater with it. Yeah, I'll fully admit, you guys have seen we're not meeting on our normal night because I'm underwater with it. Yeah, it is.
So I would be up for that,
Okay,
but I can help somebody, but I'm also
Oh, yeah.
not always free during the
Yeah,
day.
yeah.
So school holidays.
so crazy thought with this. If we do a dual chair, which I think I could do it, if somebody's doing a dual chair role, if we truly make it a dual chair role and we're sharing governance of it, yes, I could keep doing that. I know, I have to know when to say I can't keep steering the ship alone. Do we know, does BCC still have a vice chair with a dual chair role?
I don't know
Do
what's
we need a
going on
vice
with
chair if we have a dual chair role? I'm just throwing this out there to my people who have been in town governance
So what
longer.
I've seen is that if you have a co-chair, you don't always have a vice chair.
Okay,
I have seen it happen both ways. So,
okay.
I mean, I feel it's,
It's a lot of chairs.
it's a lot of chairs.
I mean, I would just do co-chairs, but I would also just do some recruitment. There's people who want to
Yeah.
plug in, and
Yeah.
I've heard like a bunch of names, and I've talked to a bunch of people, and nobody seems to know how to plug in.
Yeah,
Yes.
we've had one person attend and then they didn't know if they were joined as a full member. We do have one open position right now that we need to send out and recruit, so we can get that out there to
I have
recruit, but,
a wonderful recommendation too.
Okay.
You guys have met Kayla Wilson and Brad.
I don't think so.
So she's starting her own therapeutic farm, nonprofit, on her property off of High Bluff, like the new development back off of 181. And she's in education, she's a great speaker, so I'll invite her and see if she's interested.
So I think if you'd be willing to do a chair, I can keep
Yeah,
rolling, I just do, yeah, I need to lean on.
happy to
To
send
share
emails
that,
and
yeah,
send
to share the heavy, and then, and this I think would be a select board liaison and kind of Doug, I know Doug's on vacation this week, but for if there's daytime meetings, if there's things like that, if there's a way that we could send that info out to say, hey, could a representative from CEC attend this, rather than it always going towards a chair role or always going towards that, and that might help share the load, and then they could report back, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, I'm overwhelmingly available during the day.
I would need like a template of like to take notes, because I find myself lost
Yeah.
often
Yeah.
in our conversations.
It happens.
I know. So
Please notes for you.
That's an even broader question that
Yeah.
I'm dealing with on another committee. Is the chair
may not be the best person in the committee to go to these
Mhm.
different,
Yeah,
things and
have to
events, and
always-
there's
that's
someone,
what I'm saying,
and
yeah.
that, so I'm agreeing
Yeah.
with you. But but I'm saying it's a broader conversation too,
Okay,
than,
yeah,
than,
even just us.
than
Yeah.
just that, but, so then is it a question of, as chair, you would say, boy, and I'm not quite the right person. Michael would be a lot better to attend that meeting or be a part of that.
Or Molly.
Or Molly, let's,
Yeah.
let's get a demo, Mike and Molly.
Where is Molly?
Exactly.
Oh, the
You
same
mean-
place I
you
was
mean
last month.
You mean our new chair? Exactly.
Congratulations.
But
Yeah, I think if that's the discussion for the committee is, and I mean, there's some that it would be up to, so sometimes it's Doug sending out an email, sometimes it's, hey, this thing is coming up and we need a representative, and I think that's a bigger conversation of just throwing the ask out and saying, hey, this is coming up, who on our committee's the best fit, like, yeah.
which is how it
Yeah.
should be handled routinely.
100%.
But even talking with town, is like typically they, because they always have, that's the reasoning behind it, they only send these invitations to the chair
Yeah.
of each committee, thinking it's up to the chair to then decide.
Yeah.
Some people interpret that, well, I was the one invited.
Yeah.
You know what I,
Yeah,
You
as
understand.
the current chair, you get a lot of emails.
yes.
Emails. And it feels overwhelming often. And then you miss a lot, and you don't respond to a lot of emails until like 3 weeks later because it gets overwhelming and it's your volunteer role, not your job.
Right.
So then the other thing that we've done on the historical
Yeah.
commission is make a correspondence
Yeah, okay.
position.
Yeah.
So they're the person responsible for checking and responding to emails.
And we don't, this brings up another thing, and again, I promise we're not gonna, I wanna spend a couple more minutes on this and then keep rolling. I'm asking IT again for an email for this committee, because I'm using my personal email right now, and my
We still don't have an
email gets thousands of emails in it. 3/4 of them are
I'm gonna bring
marketing
that
spam.
to my meeting right now.
We do not have an email
Thank
still.
you.
And I miss emails for this work because it's my Gmail, like the Gmail I built when I was in college.
Yeah. If you're like me, it's full.
Yeah, it's always full.
Have you
So
just sent an email to Kate?
I've asked directly to IT, Mom, it just
Yeah.
takes time. So I'm saying it out loud,
So
on
have you-
meeting with Jennifer. Yeah, I
Have you
sent it
sent
from
an
Kate,
email to
I
Kate?
sent it to Kate, I sent it to Kevin, I sent it to, Mom sent it to Kevin, who else sent it? A lot of emails, and I know a lot of things go around, but we need
You need an email. Yeah.
because it's ridiculous.
So I went through the same thing with EDIC,
Yeah.
because all these years EDIC hasn't had an
Yes.
email, and it's everybody's private emails, and nobody,
And
you think with the
yeah.
largest economic piece in town,
Yes.
they don't have an
Yeah.
email. So the reason I said, have you talked to Kate directly, is because it's happened almost
Yeah, we
instantly.
said it on a call one day, I was on a call with them all, and yeah, so it's going to be pushed again, it's just, yeah. Okay. So with that, so co-chair, is this something committee, yes? Is there anyone that wants to keep a vice chair role? Step into that role, okay. We have our clerk, right, yes, the official name is clerk, right?
Yes.
Again, I know this is my first discussion having these rotating for my longer term people in the town government structure. Currently Cindy, you're filling that role, and I know we're on an annual cadence, again, we are a new committee. Is there anyone that would like to take a turn fulfilling that role, and or Cindy, are you still in the capacity of fulfilling that role? No. Does that
I'm fine
make
with
sense?
continuing as clerk. If everybody's happy with that, but I'm also, like, if somebody really wants to do it,
If anyone wants to do this, okay. I think we should, when we redo our list, I do want to put some stop gaps in here, like at the 3-year mark, we have to rotate or something.
Yes.
Because I don't think anyone should be fulfilling a role more than a certain amount of time, so.
I think that may be actually kicked up to a higher level.
Yeah.
And promoted town.
Yeah, no,
Why?
it should be. It just should be. It's
No, it
pretty
should be.
typical.
And
The
that's
select board does it, and that's the example.
And it's been,
Yeah.
and it's been brought up
Yeah,
How often do they rotate?
they rotate every election.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they rotate, I believe it's either annual or every election, one or the other.
And it really shouldn't just be the officers' roles. I mean, it should be, like, you've got to rotate off the committee to get new blood.
Oh, yeah, no, I think,
You
and
know,
that's something
but I
we
think-
can, when we dive in, if we want to put terms in, we can. BCC has terms where you have to take a break. I forget how long, but
I'm
yeah.
just saying that,
Oh,
it
yeah.
might not even be something we have to
Okay,
accept.
that would be beautiful. I would love it if they make.
I believe that discussion is happening at a higher level.
Wonderful. Okay, so right now then we'll have co-chair, we'll have clerk, and that covers the 3 roles that we have currently. If we get an email, we could bring up a correspondence role at a later date. If we get an email, if there's anyone with capacity to watch that email and distribute accordingly, I think that would be a great conversation to have. Okay, so I believe we do have to vote on this though, so to make it official. So I can't make the motion as the chair, but we are voting on Jill and Sarah being co-chair, and then Cindy fulfilling the role of clerk if someone would like to make a motion.
You have an email.
Thank you.
Economy at Belchertown.
You're
Apparently it's been there.
Oh, nobody told me. Thank you.
Wait till they tell you your password. You need a little more information.
Alright. So you're gonna have to have a motion, please.
I make a motion that Sarah and Jill are co-chairs and that our esteemed clerk is willing to continue in her role, still on our 1-year rotation.
Thank you.
Second.
Okay, thank you. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Last chance. And any abstain? Beautiful. All right, see, we got through that really good. Okay, Lisa, I'm gonna have you do your update.
All right, so, helped out with Lake Wallace Fall Fest, did a lot of the marketing and social media for that, it was very successful, but Louise and Sarah will get into more of that, so I will let them take that. I don't know if anybody saw on Facebook, but last week on Tuesday, we had a meeting with the chancellor from UMass, as well as Tony Lewis and Nancy Stone, who also work at UMass. Aaron Saunders came, Jake Oliveira. We had 2 representatives from Mass Staff come, Kurt from EIC met us when we went on a tour of the Carriage Grove area. There's a lot of positive feedback. It was a really great opportunity to highlight everything that has been done in the community that kind of led us to this moment. And the feedback that we received was overwhelmingly positive, and that a lot of other communities don't have the plans and the vision that we presented them when we met last week. So that's a real kudos to everybody who's been working really hard behind the scenes to improve, the infrastructure and the economic development in our community. So that was really positive. We're having a follow-up meeting internally later this week to talk about the meeting, break it down, what worked, for us as we were preparing and what we can improve on next time, and also come up with some next steps for where we're of this conversation. Well, the chancellor did reach out to everyone who was there and just said how wonderful it was, and he had never really considered looking in this direction when it comes to expanding and looking for opportunities. So he was really grateful for the chance to do that. And something I learned through the process was that literally every single department in town has some sort of connection, collaboration, partnership with the university already. So that was really, really neat to see. So that was huge. That took up the majority of all of my time for the last month, getting that off the ground. Boys and Girls Club update, we are waiting on survey results. Surveys went out through the school mailing list and the rec department mailing list to all parents, guardians, families, asking them for their input on before school, after school, as well as enrichment opportunities. So they have until December 22nd, not December 22nd, October 22nd, to fill out the surveys and return. We've already had well over 100 come back, so that's a pretty good return rate, I feel like, for a survey. And then there's an additional survey that we were asked to put out that is just going to 7th and 8th graders in high schools directly to their school emails to gauge their interest, not just family interest, but their interest in what might be exciting for them. And then we're gonna take all that information and then have a follow-up meeting with the Boys and Girls Club from Ludlow, hopefully before Thanksgiving. We'll see what shakes out with schedules and whatnot. FEMA conversations are continuing. We just received.
Can I ask a question about Boys and Girls Club?
Yeah,
How is that our purview?
that was at our purview. It came about through conversations about, oh my God, potential uses for Chapel, which is in the cultural district, as well as a potential, lead down the road, community center, and or just, so we're gonna.
Nexus.
Yeah,
Hub.
yes, thank you.
Community hub is what I was thinking.
Community hub. Yes, thank you.
So if they renovate it, it would be that spot,
Community hub.
yeah, where
Lots of stuff.
the teen space, which is now kind of in the rec department across the street.
But it also came about from conversations within the community
Yeah.
about,
No,
Need.
there is an absolute need. I
Yeah.
just don't know how that it fits in with the creative economy.
Because we are, it's one way that is bringing in people, right? They're nonprofit.
yeah.
Yeah.
And also it's like it's also with the rec department and with the schools as a potential opportunity for revenue.
Growth and revenue.
Yes, for them to service a need from the community, but then also offer programming at the same time that could maybe help them. So,
I'd say it would fall under recreational tourism,
Yeah.
if I was looking for a charge. Yeah, but I mean, in your work, we're not doing anything like that in our agenda, but that's really good work that you're doing.
I guess having been a member of the Ludlow Boys and Girls Club for several years, I just simply do not see how that fits in with the creative economy charge. I just don't. And especially since we're not even received the feasibility study yet on Tatchell. I mean, that's being done,
It's, yeah.
yeah.
and
I believe
it
it
was
was but
completed.
it's not under my scope, so I haven't
Right.
been updated on it.
So it's, I don't know, I'm trying to say, I don't, like you said, all of your work and your time and everything else has gone in, and it's just puzzling to me how it ended up falling in your lap.
Well, it didn't get thrown in my lap.
Okay.
It didn't get thrown in my
Yeah,
lap.
volunteer.
So, because we don't have a distinguished cultural district, we've been looking at the opportunities and my strengths and what I can bring to the town. Something that, I'll just say this, I feel like I'm good at is networking and having these conversations and helping people see the bigger picture. So if I am able to do that and be in a position, in a room, at a table with people who have an open ear, then I'm more than happy to do that. And that's how UMass came about, that's how Boys and Girls Club came about, that's how FEMA's come about, and it's presented these opportunities for the community that might not necessarily have happened had someone in this role not been there to do it, or any role, really, because like how is there someone in the community that is a paid person within the town able and have the capacity to network and really elevate the community in such a way that's going to hopefully lay a foundation for success moving forward. You know, but in outside of like internal conversations or like with the chamber or, you know, something like that. So being able to do that, I feel is absolutely within the charge of the creative economy because it's opening up different avenues that might not necessarily have been there. On my own base.
No, that makes sense. No, I definitely, I mean, yeah. It falls under what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else?
No, I just, I
Oh, yeah,
am concerned,
100%,
you know, I am concerned, you know, like how did it, because I mean, the primary reasons were all brought up that mostly involve things for kids to do and care for, you know, after school care, you know, all of that stuff was the driver behind the Boys and Girls Club.
Mhm.
There was the also ran, and then everybody, I think several people had their own desired uses for what would happen with Tatchell.
Yeah.
So,
And it's not to say that like, this was a conversation that was like, what are potential uses that if the feasibility comes back and it is a feasible solution, like we're not thinking that this is, they're gonna move right in, you know?
Yeah.
And the other piece of it too is like thinking about the schools, how can the town support the schools and the families within the schools? And because we all know part of the problem when offering programming is who's going to do it. Who, Boys and Girls Club potentially has the capacity to fill those roles of who's going to do
they
it.
absolutely do.
Yeah.
But like the family center has been pretty clear that it's not what they want.
So I think we're getting a little bit off, because I know Lisa's
Yeah.
providing the updates. I'd say that, I know Lisa's been working hard on these things to bring them to town, because they are within the cultural district connections and can provide future space and use of these places that will support our community as a whole and will support our artists and artisans, because it's more space, yeah. But I do thank you for sharing those thought process. It does add to everybody to think about it, but for updating, I do know that there's been a lot of work leading up to those of having it even get to this point of being a potential. Yeah, absolutely.
But have you reached out in any way in the networking scope of things with the family center, who is still trying to get their own building and does not feel the Boys and Girls Club is a good fit for what their needs are?
I think that would be a separate side of with the family center ongoing, where the family center's going for that, and I'm sorry, I'm
No, no,
answering your question, but, and I think that would be of working, because I know the family center has been working on different areas as well, so this is one of many potential opportunities.
I just don't want to be
Yeah.
set up anything that,
Oh,
you know, because when I asked
For
them about participating in the Boys and Girls, you know, and they were like, no.
So I think this would be two very separate things.
Okay.
Yeah, this isn't about, this is before school, after school.
Right.
This is school-age children enrichment.
And family center on our town, I'm not sure where it's listed, but it's 0 to 5.
Right.
Once they enter school, that's.
Yeah. So this,
Okay.
yes, and this specific survey that went out was to families within the public school system, as well as also
Yeah.
who have been or are currently registered within the rec department, which could be younger children as well, but it was
Yeah, no.
specifically geared towards school-aged, you know, families. Yeah. And the Boys and Girls Club we did communicate with them and connect them with the Boys and Girls Club, like with the family center, yes, they were connected with that, so they did come up in our conversation.
Okay, good, great. That's all I wanted to know was that, to make
And this
sure.
was back in like February or March even, when we first met with them and sat down with them. So yes, they were in part of the conversation. All right, so I'm just gonna wrap up real quick. FIFA, we're still in conversation with them. We just received their FIFA Boston's playbook, which basically sets up responsibilities, roles, what communities need to do in order to continue to engage we have an idea about what would potentially fit best for Belchertown. So really our next step is just, as a small group to go through and look through it and come up with a proposal to then bring to Viva Boston the next time we are able to have a conversation about potentially moving forward. And they're still waiting on a lot of information, like I keep saying that, they're still waiting on information from Viva, but it's a huge thing. So we're just being patient and going each step they give us, and we'll continue to wait and see what happens. And Jill wrote a beautiful piece for Yankee Magazine, but I still have, Jill's Yankee Magazine.
It's not quite done yet.
And I'm like, our goal is to get it submitted before my contract ends, and it will happen. It will, and it'll be beautiful. And the last piece I am going to say is that my contract does end on December 31st. So that's where we're at right now, and we'll see what happens beyond that. Here we go.
Thanks, Brandy, on that note. So for the sake of this committee and this being the workhorse of this committee, with the discussions with the appointed, we don't need to know what they were, but are there ongoing discussions with the appointing authority?
We're having clear conversations about the future and what will happen. But just throwing that out there that it's October 20th and
We don't know yet.
times of leave. So, yeah, we don't know. So just.
Well, just let us know if you need any letters of support.
Well, Maud wrote a wonderful year-end report for us.
Yeah, that's in there,
So,
yeah.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
You're a powerhouse.
Yep.
Thank you.
And half of it done while walking up and down the line to the soccer field.
Seriously, like, honestly, you have done more marketing for this town in such a short span of time. It's ridiculous in a good way, in the best of ways. Thank you. Okay, so again, I want to just throw, we're gonna do quick updates at the end. So farm stands and artisan shed. I know this was discussed at the August meeting heavily. What I included was what was sent out after sort of about days ago in my own notes. I probably didn't because I grabbed all the other ones. I have the one single page, thank you. What I did was I just threw highlights on, and I know Cheryl, if you wanna, this is your lead on this one, so I know you brought up a good point as well earlier, so I'll send it to you, take it away.
With the town as a whole, looking at zoning, both signage and zoning, they are aware that they have an issue with the pop-ups that are currently non-conforming all over the place. They're going to have to address it. And it's there, it's on their plate and they know it is. So how deeply how much time do we want to invest? How much do we want to put forward into it? I don't know. Did you have a chance to check in with Munson to find out what? Don't worry about it.
I will fully say I have not.
Don't worry about it. But the other things is, I think if we do one thing for this, without getting in too deep, without going into the whole zoning versus not having to ask for permission and by right, I mean, there's just so much that other than Sarah, I don't think too many of us are fully qualified to do and handle and know each nuance of things going on. And we're gonna hire somebody to look at the whole town anyway. So my personal thing is that I think that it's the definition that people, and that is what Paul and Doug asked us. So the first thing you do, just define it.
So,
And don't, we got all the cautions, all the research I did was, like, don't define it by size. Any of those things, that, and I went and I looked at lots of farmers markets. They have definitions for artisans.
Yeah.
Which include what percentage of your stuff, has to be handmade and created. And we all, like, I buy frames. Obviously, I don't make But it's like the percentage of what goes into it and stuff like that. So they exist. You know, we can go through. I would just ask if all of us could come up with a definition. My guess is we're gonna hit on the same thing. But I don't know if anybody else has experienced this. Did the difference between Bing and Google search is tremendous. So you get a whole different thing. So I always do both, just like routinely. But I know there's other search engines as well, you know, that are gonna get us the information we need. But it's just remarkable to me that you get completely different results when you use from Bing and Google. I think that's impressive. But just look at artisan sheds, or if you could invent a definition of the artisan shed, which has nothing to do with size. I mean, some things I was glancing at quickly, you know, like it has to be removed. Don't take them down. You know.
But there's like property descriptions, right?
Yeah.
Where like if you're on so much of your property, then anything you add on has to be temporary.
I think,
So,
I guess. Do we still, because I still think that we could still play a part, even with the larger zoning discussion, of still inviting people in now that we're getting into the slower season for our farmers, our crafters are getting into busy season, so they're flip-flopping right now, but do we still think it would be important to invite in external?
I think it's worth an
trainers
external
to have a
conversation.
sounding- To have a sounding board
Absolutely.
of our artisans, of our local makers, of our, anyone who would love to have a part in selling items off of their property in our town. Cottage make, all of them. So if we could still invite them, and that way what our part could be is, hey, we know you're redoing this, we're advocating, here's the data we
That's it.
received, take our data for this specific piece.
I absolutely
Okay.
agree with you. I do think it's, because that is also gonna prove the need for them to make sure it ends up on their purview, whoever it is, you know, that they've got doing it. But as I said, they know that they have an issue. For me, I just keep going back to he said, define it, just define it, and then we'll take it to our next step after that.
And I'm excited we're going to be looking at some.
And I am concerned only because my memory is long, that we are certain, for two reasons, to, I was gonna say prohibit, but I don't know if the right word is limit reselling. You know, we don't want people putting up these structures, you know, or creating retail spaces, selling other people's.
So as a former, and I'm gonna speak as a former artisan, I think we could make it so we could find a way to balance it, of, like we said, percentages of your grains and things. Because one thing, somebody may not have the means to do it on their location. Like when I was at Pips, I was going to end up getting my license to then sell before Ruby Ranch closed. He was going to make a space for me to sell my items. And then I was talking with Mike when Mike had the mushroom farm out at the other side of town. And he was going to resell my items for me in his things. I didn't at the time have the means or the location that proved to be a good location for that. So I'm just throwing out 2 cents from my old hat I used to wear on how we can word that so we don't accidentally inhibit or put a barrier up for individuals that don't have means on their own property.
There
Right,
are,
because
there are
there's a limit
businesses
there.
here in town that would welcome them.
I'm just, but there are other licenses you have to get to go from, it's all, there's layers, but I just wanna throw it out there just to, as we dive through this. And I think we should, also, we're gonna find out so much listening to the needs of who's selling it.
we're not trying to police anything.
Yeah.
We're trying to get an idea of what is needed and what is,
Yeah. And then leave it up to the people that they can yell at later in planning to please learn it. And I mean that totally in a flat joking way, but, yeah.
But we do have to prevent retail shops opening up in residential neighborhoods
It's-
that don't have the proper zoning. This is just giving the
And I
artisan
think
and
there's-
artist a way to sell their
Yeah.
own things.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I
Can I
think that's.
backtrack and ask what was the impetus, the early
Well,
impetus?
because when we lost the space, You know, we were looking at creating a space
We as
over
a
on
community.
Berkshire committee, town, previous founded lunch
Oh, the
committee.
space for the artists.
Space for artists to sell, like a little co-op, not
Yeah.
a co-op, if you will.
Right.
And we don't have that. It fell through, was not possible. So when I came and said, okay, and then as timing would have it, the cultural district formal designation, whole thing,
Which hasn't happened yet.
and not likely
But
to
it's in
soon.
process.
It is not.
Okay, yeah. Oh, it's not in process.
Oh, yeah, you weren't here.
Oh, okay.
It's not.
So it's not the select board that's asked us to regulate these art, there's nothing like that happening. There's no
The
big
select board
body
hasn't
that's.
asked us, but they have agreed that it's
Uh-huh.
become an issue. People are handling it
And
on
when you say
their
become an
own.
issue, what is the dimension of the issue?
The issue is
The aesthetics of it?
people are making their own spaces and selling it, and there are no guidelines.
Like the
no
aesthetics of
rules.
it, on like ugly.
No, got nothing to do
Oh,
with
nothing
aesthetics.
about ugly sheds next door?
Nothing
No.
to do with aesthetics. People are saying, I need to be able to sell my stuff.
Okay.
There's no place, no
Right.
whatever. I'm gonna pop up my own shed. And
I
I'm gonna
see.
sell Susie's stuff and Jimmy's stuff and this one's stuff.
Okay, so
Or
you're sort of
even just
preempting a
their own.
problem that's gonna happen.
Yes, so it's
possibly.
happening. But, so people are solving it themselves.
Yeah.
Well, we also want to encourage
Yeah.
artisans
But
to
we
do
gotta
that.
encourage artists to do
If
it.
they live in the community or move to the community,
Yes.
they know that they have an outlet to sell their
Yeah.
wares.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah, I was gonna say, we wanna make it.
so then you can do
close.
some
Yeah,
PR.
we're
We can
encouraging-
absolutely,
Yeah.
you know, you have
Once you
the
get
freedom.
regs.
It's another arrow in the quiver of encouraging artisans to stay and relocate.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
So
it's
it's a good
really
place
about,
to support you.
it's about encouraging, not regulating or putting too much
Yes.
onto the guy.
They're simply allowing, because right now,
Right.
people who follow the rules say it's not allowed, I can't do it.
Right, I got
So
you.
it's just the rule.
So I noticed there's no electric was left off because
Well, it's their own shed on their own
So-
property, we don't care what they
you
do.
took plumbing on there, you took
I
plumbing,
didn't do that.
kitchen,
So this was something that Molly had just done as a basis, and this was used during the August meeting. So I think
okay.
what the next step, it sounds like, is to do our meeting of inviting everyone in and saying, okay, let's hear from you. What are your needs?
Stakeholders, yeah.
All the stakeholders, what are your needs? Creating that data dump, making it manageable, making it so so the people that actually make these changes understand it. And then having a simple definition of just what to our artisans and our local vendors, what does that mean to them of what an accessory structure, what that farm artisan shed, whatever it ends up being called is. And that way, as we're going through these zoning regulations, as we're going through these bylaw changes, we can act as an advocacy arm, not a regulator necessarily. As an advocacy arm for our artists and artisans to say, here's what they told us, here is the data. Is that, yes?
Yes.
Do we want this to be the first focus and invite them to the 11:10 meeting?
And you're talking about the little girl that puts up the little egg stands,
So,
all that
egg
stuff?
stands are
Farm
exempt.
stands
The
are
egg
legit.
stand,
The egg
the
stand.
egg
Oh.
stand has a right to do that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's right,
The
okay.
egg stand girl has a right
Farm
to do
stand,
it.
it's
But if
considered a farm stand.
But if somebody who makes hand-painted greeting
Right.
cards, she doesn't have
Yeah,
the
yeah,
right.
got it.
So
And
we
you
did-
sell bread.
So we did find a sort of problem, right? So, in Belchertown, I did not know, we are a right to farm
Yes,
community.
we are.
Right?
Yeah.
But our bylaws still say that you need 40,000 square feet to own chickens. And there are
Which is-
many,
We're right to farm community, so a lot of that should supersede it.
but if someone makes a complaint against someone who does not have enough property, they are in danger of getting shut down.
That
and
sounds
getting
like
rid of
We
their-
should send an email to
It's
planning board during their zoning bylaws.
But I think
I
that should be,
believe that this
We don't have chickens
like, that
anymore.
should be,
We got rid of
we are a right to
all
farm
the
community.
nature
This hasn't been
took care of it.
updated since 1993.
These things are
I think
people
it's
can't
time to update
Right.
our,
Right,
right?
on the ag, talk to that ag
Well,
commission.
that just,
So we have-
that just came up last week.
Yeah.
Yes.
Selectmen's meeting.
Okay.
It came up in the planning board.
Our
meeting.
bylaws are old.
Yeah,
They're very old.
they're really old.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
But
Okay.
that's what our point was, is
Got it.
somebody can sell their eggs.
Yes, but not their Christmas
Yeah.
cards.
Right, exactly.
Because it's right before.
What about bread? They can't sell
I know,
bread.
so I have.
Bread is a little bit
It's a
different.
food
So
stuff.
bread,
Yeah.
technically on, because I was looking to do my cake business.
Yeah.
that I had
Right,
for a
yeah.
while, selling baked goods. And so under Massachusetts cottage laws, I would throw a tent up in my driveway. Everybody in Belchertown came by to pick them up. We have a few other, one other cottage bakery right now currently doing that every weekend, and it's legal. Maybe 2 now, I don't know, there's a couple more that popped up, 2 or 3. One is
There's at least
considered
2.
a farm.
Yeah.
Lindsay's a
Lindsay's a
farm,
farm,
and there's others. So under cottage laws, you can, but when it changes is if you want to build a shed. So what changes right now in Belchertown first, but I know for cottage laws, is once you put it in a structure, right now we would have to follow the accessory structure Belchertown bylaws, which is 200 feet from the back, 50 feet from the side. It's a lot of regulations
And it
around
defeats the
something.
purpose.
And it defeats the purpose. If people walk inside, you're supposed to have a sanitary
Right.
location. Like, it defeats the purpose of giving an artisan a space to sell. Artists and artisans don't have what their problem is right now. So I have a candle business down the street from me that has a cute little shed. We have a bunch around town. You drive around, you see them, that's what we do.
Yeah.
So what happens, there's no protection right now in our bylaws for those individuals. So if somebody was like, that's an accessory structure, okay, our zoning laws would, as they stand right now, we have no protections for those people putting a small temporary thing on their property to sell their goods. And we don't have a central location outside of a farmer's market for them to do so in town.
So that means that there's no, so what does that mean? There's no law either way, whether they can have.
So
Yeah.
it would default to
It means if
accessory
someone doesn't like
structure.
you, they can give you a.
Right.
Exactly.
Well,
And if
that
we
would
have
be
a
my
meeting,
concern
yeah.
is, that would be my concern is that when you open this up, eventually you're gonna get traffic, you're gonna get aesthetics issues, you're gonna get all kinds of.
And that's
What a
where the
great
bigger,
problem to have.
it is a great problem.
Right.
It is. We want to
I'm
be
sorry.
we want to be a
Great
local
problem
community.
to have.
Okay, okay.
So,
The neighbors
and
get
and there's
upset.
a big push anyways in aesthetics and everything in zoning laws that I won't dive into
Yeah.
today.
Yeah, okay.
Equality and zoning laws. So, but for this though, I think it's really important to at least be able to provide the voice of our artisans, provide the voice of our makers to those, so back to the original question. And I just have to double check to make sure I believe town hall will be open 11:10. I have to see if they're recognizing the holiday and Jen already left, because the holiday's technically Tuesday. Get close, oh, hi, town person. You would know, whatever. So Monday's open. So we can have our meeting on 11:10. Do we want to invite people to 11:10 before our crafters get into the insane holiday season? Because if we don't do it in November, I fear we would have to wait till January.
Well, I mean, we can invite them, but I
Yeah.
gotta tell you right now, it's already.
Is it already
crazy
insane?
season. Yeah, it's already, yeah.
If we wanna put a hold and say, okay, cool, this is the next step, and start revving up the
Can
communication,
they participate virtually?
I think we could 100% set it up virtually.
Well, they can, but like it's.
Well, what about inviting them to the 11:10 and then saying
Another-
there's another one, like we're inviting some voices in November, but we're gonna have our formal bigger
Another one in
a
January,
forum in January.
once we're past the crazy season.
Yeah, but also, I'm just throwing this out here, and I don't know, I'm sure somebody here has more knowledge on it than I do, because I have no clue. There is nothing precluding us as in individual members of the committee, on behalf of the committee, like, does the farmer's market have any kind of a board or any kind of a thing that meets?
Yes.
And we could go there. We could go there and say, hey, we really, we're looking for your input, your thing. It doesn't have to be that they have to come to us on our time.
Yeah.
If they've already blocked out the time and they have a meeting, well, I'd be happy to go and just say, hey, this is
What
what
does
we're
exclude the
thinking
other?
of.
It's not exclusive. One way of doing it is exclude the other.
Yeah, so just adding it in.
Okay, so.
Well, oftentimes when you have, you set something and you're inviting the
Yeah.
public, people hear about it afterwards.
Yeah.
So if
Yeah.
like there's a warm,
You can do
there's
follow-up.
So,
a warm up and then and then the game.
so
Yeah.
what I think I might be hearing is there might be a commitment, willing to have a commitment to attend some other gatherings like Quabbin Valley. Quabbin Artists Association has meetings, so if there's a list of meetings,
Right.
there could be
divvying up.
commitment to divide and conquer.
Yes.
Say, okay, say there's, so this is where, okay,
And then
Because if we want to advocate on
yes,
their behalf, so therefore we need their input on,
yes, and I'm just thinking of, I know there were some questions made, I wanna make sure we revisit anything that needs to be revisited. Do we use some of that as the basis of just saying, here's some conversation, here's what we've already talked about, and make it a conversation? Bring notes, I'm just thinking of how we get the same
Or we
data
make a
back.
one pager, like,
Yeah.
this is what we're asking, we
Why?
want to be an advocacy arm.
Okay, and getting the feedback, I'm just trying to think of how to make it the easiest way possible for those attending these meetings to then report back the data. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, so one, because we don't need to have it be super structured, because an open meeting wouldn't be super structured like that, but it's more so making it easier for that person that goes to represent, getting back, and sorry, this is when my brain gets lost in certain things.
So I can
So I think that
understand
would be
us
great.
having,
Yeah.
like, basically what amounts to a form
Yeah.
that we'll be filling in with the data that they give.
That
We'll just,
we will be,
we'll be
yeah.
filling it in.
Also metrics and things like
Right,
that.
exactly, from what we get.
Yeah.
Have the same, 3-5
Would
questions.
there
Because I'm
be-
always reluctant.
Yeah.
I think we've ever been on to say, the pylon effect. I think when you present people with a bunch of ideas,
Yeah,
you're gonna get a pylon. I'd rather get
That's
their
why I'm
thoughts,
turning to
not,
reels, yeah,
yes.
so,
If you guys want to supply me with 5 questions
Mhm.
that you want to present to the committees of the meetings that you're going to attend, I will create something that you can bring with you.
I know I'm underwater at the moment, and I will fully admit that. Is there anyone who have capacity to push forward just simple questions?
I mean, I can do it.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
So whenever you have a chance, just email me.
Right, and if anybody, from our things, if you want to email me individually,
Yeah.
that you suggestions for questions to ask, which is basically, what is your need, what would
Yeah,
help you?
if you let Sharon know that line, I should get it to you.
Do you want to give you the data, what is to get up to me right next week? Or by like Monday next week?
Monday of next week?
Yeah.
So this was the basic, just so you have the printout, these were who responded, we have 3 responses from the basic. I know surveys never work out well with stuff like this, everybody's too busy. But I'll just give you that copy,
Okay.
just so you can see the basic things and then simplify them even more for a committee standpoint. Awesome, I think we have a plan, okay?
And the other reason to do this, I know that we want to have the protection for our artisans, and that's what we're here and everything else.
Advocacy.
And we are here for advocacy, which that is without question. But these places that are popping up, there's someone taking heed for that.
Yeah.
So by creating something, we're also going
I'm working on
to
something.
resolve that.
I'm getting us out, so next
Because
week's
right
like-
now, there's a lot of this.
We're on the last quick things, alright.
Right, gotcha.
Okay, so I'd say the next step is just, please email individually, Cheryl's email, suggestions directly to Cheryl, and if there's groups you know that should be involved in this, so we can coordinate meeting times individually. I'm underwater, but I can help you coordinate at least a list.
Right.
For everyone.
The list,
Yes,
yeah.
a list for who should be reaching out, so we know when meetings are, so I think
Yes.
that's a fantastic way to approach this. Okay,
And
Yes.
last thing with this then, so if this is happening, it's already the end of October,
Yes.
basically. If you're attending these meetings in November, then perhaps we should shift the invite to
Oh, yes.
citizens to January.
I agree,
Is that-
yes, and then I think we do, if we feel as though we still have more room to cover, we shift the actual welcome to January, and that's our kind of done. Like
Yeah,
everybody,
yeah.
that's our final January here.
Because
before we
it
sign
is
off.
January when
Presentation,
artists
essentially.
just can breathe again.
So that's where we can make a presentation to the community and bring people together to make those recommendations. Okay, I'll put that on. I promised we would keep this so hard. so hard, we're moving. It's
And
always so
also
much.
sending to Sharon your definition,
Yes,
and I'll
okay.
compile them all.
And I will send out a to-do after, just a little reminder to do, so we see it, because I know, like myself, once you leave the meeting, you're like, whoops. Until you go, oh no, the next meeting's coming up. Okay, so those were the big pieces. I know there's a few things that just, it's gonna keep happening. We keep passing on the next projects and goals, because we're not done with the we're not at a point where I feel like we can dive into our next projects and goals. So I wanna do just, I really didn't have any updates from projects, for the wayfinding branding. I know wayfinding is stuck in the seal right now, from what I've heard. Branding, thank you. Branding is stuck in the seal right now. They're working to find funding to get the seal professionally digitalized.
Yeah.
That's where we are on seal right now. Wayfinding, the last thing that I heard about wayfinding was, Mod coordinated with the DPW. They have, I believe it's 3 or 4 signs
It's officially.
officially handed off to DPW. When it might come back to us to involve ourselves anytime is if we find any need from doing any future marketing, look at with businesses, kind of any future things, we'll be partnering with DPW or whoever's needed at the time, as far as I know right now.
So would anybody have a problem if I just touch base with Linda and asked her to straighten out the signs? Because they're crooked. Have you noticed?
With Linda for, they didn't put any signs up yet, did they?
No,
we
they haven't
haven't.
put any.
They haven't, okay.
Okay,
So
no
I
signs
thought,
up yet,
I
no,
was like,
no.
who put the
We'll
Stonehouse Museum
No,
sign up?
We'll
It's
know,
like
we'll know
this.
when there's new big, these are gonna be
Yeah,
very,
no, these are
very
the-
I know,
yeah.
these are the directional ones, okay.
Yeah, so
So
we
I'll
are,
coordinate on the
it
other.
is handed off to DPW to do the fabricating, everything, the plan is done, they have everything as far as that. Yeah, so that's the update I have for that. Fall Fest was amazing. Oh, building up Belchertown, I attended it very quickly, it was a success. Eventually, we do wanna talk about what we wanna do for future collaboration with the chamber, not this evening, because we are rolling through, yeah.
Yeah. It was
Lake
good.
Wallace was amazing.
Yeah, it was
The only piece I'll throw in is the numbers are still being tallied, but we are estimating over 6,000 fundraised from that event right now at least.
With the possibility of some more coming in.
Oh,
If
more
Andrew
coming
is
in.
able to leverage those 2 photographs.
Yeah,
Um,
more coming in, so we could be looking into which for the first time event and very, I know Lisa did amazing social media. It was very grassroots
Yeah,
and it was
and every report I've heard is that everyone loved it.
Yes,
Everyone
yeah,
loved it.
and I've been on the trip, every time I'm out anywhere, people recognize me, I don't know why.
And
And they say, oh, that Fall Fest was amazing, and everybody that I see on the trail, same, got 3 more sections of the trail adopted during that, and at least 10 more promises, which means I don't know if any of them will talk to me. Can I ask you a question? Do you have any drone footage of the trail? It's like if we
There
flew a
was,
drone
oh,
all
and
down the
yeah, there
trail.
is
Yeah.
a drone footage, not of the completed.
But we have access to get that.
That'd be
I
kind
think you know
of
who
fun.
has
You
a
do?
drone permit is Kate Nader.
Yeah,
Oh,
they
that'd
had
be-
it
yeah.
around them
She
for a
had
little
it,
bit, but
I don't think they
think,
lapsed.
We should ask her.
And I know that, and we've had, because we have a drone.
And I know Charlotte has offered to do
Lou.
videos.
Lou
Yeah,
already has
video
one
can
too.
do.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see Lou and Peg's footage of it, because they were
Yeah.
there all day.
Yeah,
interviewing people.
Yeah, and you know, that there were a lot of people who showed up, and there's some debriefing that we're, you know, that we still need to do, but it's really good. I think I've recovered enough to be able to debrief. People are already asking about next year, and we're looking at Saturday, October 2nd, October 3rd.
Yep.
And an opportunity to lock in even more, especially
Calendars.
food trucks and more canopies. So if it's 85 degrees again, then we don't cook.
I think that brought a lot of people out, so.
It was
The
so
weather brought a lot of people.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah, we learned some timing things, but it was, like, for the first Belchertown, like, collaborative event like that, it was, that, there was no big item that we'd be like, no, that went bad. Yeah.
No, not that.
Well, unfortunately,
Just like-
I was suffering the sand and ocean.
Oh,
beaches.
yeah.
Oh, what a nice day.
It was wonderful.
I was
It was-
taking the pictures. It was also wonderful.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, but a lot of new faces that we haven't really seen at events there, which was really exciting.
Yeah, and there's a potential to draw off of the people who registered for
Yeah.
the 5K and the All Abilities Roller Stroll, to draw them into the working group next year to form,
Absolutely.
you know, some subgroups.
Yeah,
So
We were
and even combining it with that,
the Quabbin days.
well, and the SOAR group
SOAR
that
was
they
the next
also
group, yeah.
had, you know,
Which
it
was
was different,
different.
they do different
So
runs.
they were late this year though, so they
Yeah.
were usually stores the second week
Right.
in September, and that's why we chose early October, so it's on the list to talk with Jill and the store team to make sure we're spanning enough time, because we don't wanna take away from store, we wanna encourage and.
Yeah.
Yeah, the biggest thing is we're gonna work on a map of all the fundraising events of the calendar year, and we wanna make like a fundraising calendar. I say we, I wanna make a fundraising calendar, and I know Lisa's done a lot of work with that, but that's a different conversation.
Right, so they,
And that's
so
not gonna
groups,
complete everything.
groups are not overlapping, right?
Yeah, but I can't like thank Louise and team enough. Louise has an amazing group of people that just come out of the woodwork. What was his name that was out?
Paul.
Paul
Was there at least
Lambert?
Lambert was there at least 3 of the days I was, and spent all of the 12 hours that I did, and he was just there
What's
and,
his connection?
and doing, he's a devotee.
He just loves it.
Yeah.
Louise has this amazing group of people that just love the space, and they
Yeah.
just came out and they just like joined to clean, and it was amazing.
I would say every time I
And the
go
run,
down there, I meet
I hope the
somebody.
run was good. Lauren did the
It's
run.
great,
Yeah.
It's beautiful, it's a beautiful trail.
Yeah.
It's a great, combination
Oh,
of pleasant and challenging.
Yeah, it has to be a little unpleasant to be trail running. But yeah, we had 70 people sign up for the trail run. We had over 20 people participate in the roll and stroll. We had, I think, like 15, 20 kids just rocking out.
Oh my God.
Andrew, my brother-in-law, Andrew, won the roll and stroll, of course, because Andrew needed to win the roll and stroll. It was amazing, and we couldn't have it any other way. Yes, but it was good, and we're really excited, and I think this will be a great collaboration event every year.
And the Stavros folks were interested in coming back again and making it part of the, you know, of their independent living
Yeah.
programs that they do
Which
for
I think
people with
having a
abilities.
connection to Stavros in town would be really
Yes.
great to bring them in more in town.
Yes.
Yeah, I was on the way home, and Thai Chili food truck called me on the way home to say, do you have the date for next year? Because we
Nice.
wanna sign up, and to me, that is like
Yeah.
one of the number one indicators of a successful event.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Just all this feedback too,
Yeah.
just seeing the anecdotal feedback that
Yeah.
people were giving, how,
Yeah.
you know. Can't believe this was your first year at, having this
Yes.
event, it was
And-
run so smoothly, and,
Yes.
so much fun.
Kudos to-
Wait till next year.
And the family center and what the family
Yeah,
center
they
was
did
able to do and have the young artisans, and the fact that Brian was able to drag those, you know, stage platforms out of Agile and just set them up.
You cannot give my husband a key to Tagil ever. He found these giant staging equipment in Tagil, drug them out, and just set them up.
Did they ever end up cleaning it out? Because that was one of their.
It's cleaned out, so Tagil is cleaned out, but there's another group that might take those, but we're gonna try to find a spot at the rec to save them, because then we can have a
They were
staging.
very useful.
Yeah, staging to use as town events, rather than people having to figure out their own staging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and I don't.
And thank you, Lauren, for the band connection, because the rec cheers were awesome.
They're great.
It was so good. We're gonna move all the music earlier next year, so more people are there, but first year's awesome.
Yeah.
I drove footage.
Everyone.
Hired somebody to do that.
All right, we're done. Okay, almost done. Okay, that was the last big update. I'm gonna move all next projects, everything. We're gonna that's like a rolling, we're gonna get there by the end of the year. We need to just talk about next projects as we go. Any other discussions? We went through all the updates. Any other discussions outside or agenda requests that we can keep considering?
Just the Radically Rural, like.
Radically,
debrief.
okay,
And
Radically
like
debrief.
getting some events for this latest conference in the books early. So that we can not be so scrambled, so Sunday.
So, if there's anything that you think you take here to start planning.
Yes, from Radically.
From Radically Rural,
Okay,
yeah.
yes, I have a list.
Cool.
I just have to make sure that list still makes sense.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so you want to put radically rural debrief on the next agenda. I've got next project and continued goals, it's just gonna continuously move until we, yeah. Have a plan for artisan sheds, I think that's gonna be, because our agendas always get overfilled, always. Okay, the only other thing is, I'll have Lisa hold it up, so I didn't grab one. This is for your personal reading, this is something Maud left, this is going to be very helpful in guiding our work moving forward, so take your time, like, just, I know it's not dry at all because Maud wrote it, but it's really important what we do. So it's a really great, and then the only other thing you had in your list was, these are meeting notes, thank you. This was just a Maud snapshot of projects that Maud did in October 25, and then I believe June is in there as well. So just so you can get a sense of what Maud was working on, and this might help you drum up any thoughts or ideas of future goals. Okay, and with that, what do we need? We need a vote to end the meeting, right? Yeah.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second. All right, the Creative Economy meeting is ending at 7:05 PM. Thank you, everyone. That wasn't bad. Okay, ending the meeting officially on here.